Imagine waking up one day, floating above your bed, unable to stand on the ground. Your favorite objects, your furniture, and even the air you breathe. Everything is drifting. This isn't a dream. This is a world without gravity. But what if gravity never existed in the first place? How would life, Earth, and the entire universe be different? Let's explore this mind-bending scenario. The science behind gravity. Gravity is the invisible force that pulls objects toward each other. It keeps us grounded on Earth, holds the planets in orbit, and gives the universe its structure. Without gravity, everything would be weightless. But what if this force never existed? Let's dive into the possibilities. Earth without gravity. If Earth had never developed gravity, it wouldn't have formed at all. Gravity is what pulled space dust and rocks together billions of years ago to create planets, stars, and galaxies. Without it, Earth would just be a cloud of floating particles, never becoming a solid planet. That means no land, no water, no atmosphere, and no life. A world without ground. If somehow Earth did exist without gravity, everything on its surface would be floating into space. Trees, oceans, animals, and people. Nothing would stay in place. Imagine pouring a glass of water. Instead of settling, the water droplets would float around like in a spaceship. Breathing would be difficult because air molecules wouldn't stay near the surface. Without gravity, there's no atmosphere. And without an atmosphere, there's no air to breathe. Life without gravity. Let's assume humans somehow evolved in a world without gravity. Our bodies would be completely different. Muscles and bones wouldn't develop properly since there's no weight to support. Our hearts wouldn't need to pump blood upwards, meaning circulation would be weaker. We'd likely have smaller, weaker bodies, with long, thin limbs adapted to floating rather than walking. Space without gravity. Without gravity, planets, moons, and stars wouldn't exist. The universe would be a scattered mess of particles, never forming galaxies. The sun wouldn't exist to provide heat and light. The moon wouldn't be there to control tides. In short, life as we know it would be impossible. Technology in a zero-gravity world. If humans did survive in a gravity-free world, how would we build homes, travel, or cook food? Roads and cars wouldn't exist since there's no ground. Buildings would need magnetic or suction-based technology to stay together. Eating would require special floating food capsules, and water would need to be stored in sealed pouches to avoid floating away. Daily life without gravity. Simple tasks like writing, walking, or even blinking would be different. Imagine trying to sleep while constantly floating. You would have to strap yourself down to rest. Sports wouldn't exist as we know them. There would be no soccer, basketball, or running. Instead, games might involve floating races or bouncing between walls. Emotional and psychological impact. Gravity gives us a sense of stability and control. Without it, people would feel disoriented, anxious, and confused. Our brains are wired for gravity, so a world without it could lead to mental stress. Astronauts in space experience similar issues after spending months in microgravity. How would evolution change? In a world without gravity, natural selection would favor creatures that could adapt to weightlessness. Birds might develop larger wings for gliding. Fish might evolve to navigate floating oceans, and humans could develop longer fingers and toes to grip floating objects. New challenges in a zero-gravity world. Without gravity, ecosystems would fall apart. Plants need gravity to grow upright and for roots to anchor in soil. Without this force, trees wouldn't stand tall, and farming would be impossible. Food production would require advanced floating farms, with plants growing in sealed, artificial environments. Human relationships would also change. Imagine a world where there's no concept of height, no difference between standing and lying down. Social structures would evolve differently, and even human language might change. There would be no up or down. Directions like go north or turn left would be meaningless without a gravitational point of reference. Effects on time and aging. Gravity plays a role in time dilation, a concept from Einstein's theory of relativity. In a gravity-free world, time would pass slightly differently, affecting aging and biological rhythms. People might age at different rates depending on where they are in space. Without gravity's pull on our bodies, humans might live longer or develop slower aging processes. Gravity and the human brain. Research shows that gravity influences our inner ear balance system. Without it, humans would struggle to maintain balance and orientation. Over time, our brains might evolve to rely on other senses, such as sound, sight, or touch, to navigate instead of balance. Could we create artificial gravity? To survive in a world without natural gravity, we would need to develop artificial gravity systems. Spaceships already use centrifugal force to simulate gravity in space. Future cities could have rotating habitats or electromagnetic floors to keep objects and people in place. Scientists are exploring how to use magnetic forces to help astronauts maintain muscle and bone density in space. Conclusion: gravity is one of the most fundamental forces in the universe. Without it, nothing we know today would exist. The Earth wouldn't form, the sun wouldn't shine, and life wouldn't evolve. It shapes our world, our bodies, and our minds. So next time you drop something on the floor, remember, you owe your entire existence to gravity. This was What If We Never Had Gravity? If you enjoyed this thought-provoking journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Curiosity Unlocked. Stay curious, and see you in the next episode.